80 to 90% of the time when there is a mental illness drug or a symptom that is not going away, it's usually found in the body. It's found in the body.
You are listening to the DrHaley Show, the podcast dedicated to helping you optimize your health. Each episode, there will be an interview or a message to help you discover better health. We will be featuring health radicals on the show to bring new ideas to the table, as well as doubling down on key fundamentals to support you living your best life. Your host is no other than the founder of Haley Nutrition, Dr. Michael Haley.
This is the DrHaley Show podcast. I'm Dr. Michael Haley, the show host. And today, well, the benefit of this podcast, we're going to explore natural ways of dealing with stress and mental well-being. Miriam Putnam is a board-certified wellness coach, a freedom from stress counselor with an emotional story that led her to help others find a better way to mental well-being. She is on a mission to offer holistic, natural solutions for mental health. Miriam, thank you for joining me today. Where in the world are you right now?
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you for having me today, Michael. I really appreciate it. It's fantastic. I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, I love Tampa. I actually went to the University of Tampa.
Oh, yeah?
The building with the big minarets. Now, I'm a lot older than you, but my favorite place there, I'm going to admit to all of my people listening, is a place that's no longer there. It was a little bar that I worked at called the Chatterbox Lounge in Hyde Park, which was across the street from Burns Steakhouse.
Oh.
And people would go from one to the other. I was a bartender there to help put myself through college at the University of Tampa. And people would go from limousines at Burns Steakhouse across the street to this dive bar where they could get drinks for $1.25. It was quite the place. I'll call it the famous Chatterbox Lounge in Tampa, Florida.
Well,
how long have you been there?
Fun. Yeah, we've about 12 years now.
Okay. Now, do you know Burns Steakhouse? Is it still there?
Yeah, Burns Steakhouse is still there. And then across the street, I do not think Chatterbox is there. It's a really nice hotel that has lots of amenities.
Yeah, the Chatterbox went up in flames like 20 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, I haven't seen Chatterbox.
Burned to the ground. And then we had what's the big event in February in Tampa where everyone dresses up like pirates and...
You mean Gasparilla?
Gasparilla.
Yeah. Yeah, Tampa has some pretty cool stuff in it. It's an up and coming city for sure.
Yeah.
We moved here from Los Angeles, so it was a little bit of a culture shock for me at first, but I really love Tampa.
My one competitor in my business, I have an aloe vera business, but my closest thing to having competition in the business, it was a man that had a stand in not Hyde Park. What's the other place that was built in the 90s on the bay? Where's a trendy place that people... It's like an island of some kind.
You mean Davis Island?
Is it not Davis Island? Davis Island brings back other memories. That's where the fraternity went out, and isn't that where Beer Can Beach is, I believe?
Maybe. Well, you have lots of memories in this city. How fun. You have a huge smile on your face. I love it.
I did have a good time. I had a good time in college. And unfortunately, that's what I had, was a good time.
Yeah, I get it.
That's why I don't want my kids to go to college.
Yeah.
Unless they have an actual plan. I got a plan after college, and then I went back to school for another 4 years and became the chiropractor that I am.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wasn't going to do that because my counselor at the University of Tampa said I wasn't smart enough. And yeah, and I think he just didn't like chiropractic because chiropractors aren't real doctors. I think that was his position. But I wanted to be a chiropractor because when I went to the chiropractor with my father, to me, it was like he was doing this Jesus thing, raising the dead. and helping people be better athletes and just better versions of themselves.
Mm.
So I wanted to do that for
Yeah, you
people.
wanted to get in on that.
And yeah, so eventually I decided, what does my counselor know? I went to school and became the chiropractor. And the coolest thing about it, and this is one of the things we're going to talk a lot about today, is it's a different way of thinking. When it comes to helping someone with a challenge, we're not in the business of symptom satisfaction. Things hurt, you have pain, we'll make the pain go away. There's lots of ways to make pain go away. But what would be a better approach is saying, how can we help your body heal so that it doesn't have the symptoms anymore? Because now it's working like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And let's do a little disclaimer. You might join me on this one because we are going to talk a lot about medications. And we're not saying that medicine should never be used.
Of course not. Definitely not. And you mean we, like your practice or your podcast or?
Well, I think you're going to have the same position as I do on that they can be useful in certain circumstances. The worst thing to do with a medicine is to take it to satisfy a symptom and never step back and say, okay, how can I get off this medication? How can I get healthy so I no longer need it?
Sure, right. I mean, basically what you're saying is that medicine should be used for emergency or like purposes for correcting bodily conditions that there's no other way or something like that, right? Medicine to be used over and over and over again as a Band-Aid method, it hurts the body, mind, and spirit way more than there are any studies that show that.
Yeah, and there might be times when you have such severe pain that you can't even get rest. Well, not having rest is detrimental. And what if we could somehow, take you out of the severe pain so that you can get the rest and allow your body to heal or get whatever it needs, stitches, casting, whatever it needs
Yeah.
to get back to normal health and function.
Definitely. I mean, sleep is one of the pillars of body health. So without sleep, we're really not going to be able to heal.
Yeah. Well,
definitely.
I'm going to have some tough questions for you today.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, is that all right?
Of course. Yeah. By all means.
They might even bring up some emotional points in your life. I'm sure you know that, though.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, I'm just now launching into this speaking out and taking my career to the next level just because of what I went through. I feel like I have a duty and a service to our communities and people that are seeking solutions, eager for solutions. Maybe they're confused with the current broken mental health system, whatever it may be. And yeah, I dedicate most of my work to my mom, whom I lost. So
Yes.
It's okay. We can discuss hard questions.
All right. Well, tell us about that, your mother, and what happened and what inspired you to study the things that you've studied and make a difference.
So that was a lot of questions in one, but so that's like tell you a 40-year story.
The microphone is yours. I'm going to zip my mouth for a little bit.
No, you're totally fine. I mean, I grew up with a beautiful mom when I was younger. So absolutely beautiful. My grandfather was a Baptist preacher. My mom was like a good old girl. She married my dad, who came from a lot of money. So it was a little bit of a different cultural clash, I guess, if you may. But basically, they went through marital issues. My mom lost about 3 people right in a row. So it was, I think, like a February, then again in the summer, and then again in the fall sort of thing. So it was bam, bam, bam. And then that was also simultaneous to the hormonal shifts that women go through. And with marital issues, all those losses, and then the body not finding equilibrium and forgive me for saying, but doctors back then did not know half of what they know now. I mean, luckily, this integrative and functional and chiropractic arena of holistic health has grown so much. And so that is a benefit to society.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, of course.
Because we still don't know that much. We know a lot more than we knew 10 years ago. But what we've really come to know is that our bodies know a lot more than we do. The life that is in us is a lot smarter than we are. And when we give it what it needs for health and wellness, it kind of knows what to do by itself. I don't know if we got smarter, but maybe that is the wisdom to step back and say, God. For me, I'm gonna call it God. I'm gonna call him God. Some
Sure.
people will say that the universal intelligence, or whatever it is to you, innate intelligence.
Yeah.
God knows so much more than I do, and if I can say, okay, God, what would you have me do for health and wellness? And what am I doing that is interfering with that? And then just get out of the way and miracles happen.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the person still has to drive it, right? God, universal energy, whatever a person wants to call it, we still get free will and we still have to, move our vessel, so to speak. So it's not like some, mystical energy is going to come in and fix everything. We still have to pick the body up, go outside for a walk, take the body to the gym, choose to eat a salad rather than a candy bar. I mean, we still have those healthy choices and healthy habits that we have to make.
Yeah, but the whole point is we don't know that much.
Yeah,
We
I got
still
it.
know this much. We have so much more to learn, and we're learning it exponentially. But when it comes to things like pharmacology, the reality is a human being, a man, will have a hard time getting a good consistency of mud just mixing dirt and water. And when we start messing with the chemistry of the body that has so many chemical processes going on, and we say, oh, we're going to give it this because there's a chemical imbalance. Is it a chemical imbalance that we're smart enough to fix? Really?
Yeah, sure. I know. I hear you. Well, you just brought up a very interesting point, and I'm not sure exactly what your stance is on this. Um,
Oh,
but the
now
whole,
you're going to ask me the tough questions.
yeah, I mean, the chemical balance
Strapping in.
is a theory that our population is being medicated upon. So I'm not actually on the fence about that whatsoever. I help my clients with self-advocacy and directing them towards nonprofits that share the actual facts regarding that. It can be a hard process for somebody to sort of go up and confront that and sort of become aware of that sort of reality, because that's tough to understand and consider that my doctor or my nurse or my loved one, right? In my experience growing up with my mom and dealing with the broken mental health system that we did for almost 20 years, in and out of mental hospitals and tons of doctors, it was lots of family members as well as the medical professionals that we were looking to for advice. But it can be an earth-shattering experience for somebody. And some people don't want to actually even look at that data because that story has been told to us for so long by commercials, by certain doctors, by, many different things like that. So it can be a hard one, but at this point in time, there is no drug that corrects and gets rid of mental health symptoms. There's just not.
Yeah, there's so much here. And I'll give you my take on chemical imbalances and chemistry in the body. Not yet, though.
Okay.
Because
Well, I mean, people can correct it naturally. It's a longer road and it takes dedication to healthy habits.
yeah. Well,
But
I think you're on the same page as me on this. So we'll get it out there, and then we'll go back to, finding out more about your mother and what led you to be in this position, because I still have some questions about that as far as
all right,
what your experience was like. But I'll define nutrition as chemistry
sure,
instead of what you eat, which is actually your diet.
sure.
And certainly what you eat affects your chemistry, but our chemistry also is changed by exercise. Lactic acid is a chemical change that
Sure.
happens.
Sure. Right.
And when we sleep, the chemistry surrounding our spinal cords changes tremendously. And when we laugh and think good thoughts, our chemistry changes for the good. And when we're angry and stressed, our chemistry changes for the bad. So there's so many things that affect our chemistry outside of what we put in our mouth, chew and swallow. It's not
Mhm.
just diet. Now, you can see some tremendously quick changes in your chemistry through diet. A perfect example is if we were, having shots of whiskey right now, probably in seconds, we would change the way our brain actually works. So,
Definitely.
there's definitely food and chemistry and things we put in our mouth and drug changes that happen affecting the chemistry. So,
Hmm.
looking at nutrition a little bit differently like that and saying, I can actually change my nutrition with the thoughts that I have in my head. That's a different way of looking at nutrition.
Well, definitely. I mean, that encompasses sort of the mental aspects. So, yeah, what you're talking about, it sounds like what you're talking about is that our thoughts have a way to help us control our body. And this is sort of like a mind over matter sort of thing and retraining oneself.
Well, it's really just pointing to the fact that everything that we do contributes to our chemistry. The choices we make alters our
Mm-hmm.
chemistry, and we can make good choices and we can make bad choices.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. Yeah, nutrition is a huge category.
Yeah,
Exercise is a huge category. Sleep is a huge category.
You enjoying the show thus far? One of the many health secrets that we have covered on the show is all around aloe vera, specifically drinking raw aloe vera. Our aloe vera has helped our customers effectively heal their gut, increase their intestine health, lower inflammation in the body, eliminate and/or decrease acid reflux, have glowing skin and hair, and so much more. Now, as a frequent member of our audience, you will be exposed to exclusive specials and coupon codes for the awesome products manufactured by DrHaley Nutrition. That's right, for simply being awesome and tuning in, you can get a mini discount to help you optimize and better your health. To see how we can help and support you on your health journey, tune into the episodes and listen for coupon codes that you can use at www.DrHaleyNutrition.com before you make your orders of raw aloe vera. Once again, it's www.DrHaleyNutrition.com. Now, back to the show.
yeah. I also wonder about medications and why we start with them and trusting them so much, because a lot of times when children are given medications for their mental or emotional well-being, a lot of times it's really for the parents. The parents don't want to deal with the symptoms, so they drug their kids. I'm not saying it's always that way, but when Johnny hurt his knee, we gave him pain medication, and when Johnny bumped his head, we gave him aspirin to relieve his headache. And Johnny never learned how to deal with pain because we always numbed it because we didn't want to hear Johnny cry.
Yep. I think there can be some truth to that. I'm also a guardian ad litem, so I help with foster kids and see what's going on in the system, and it can be quite a heartbreaking reality.
Yeah. Well, when your mother went through all these challenges, people dying and the changes that happen in our midlives and all of those challenges, the marital challenges, someone decided to give her medication, or she agreed to take medication. What changes did you notice in her when that happened?
I mean, if I could just take a bird's eye view of the whole entire experience at this point in time, I would say that it was like living in a nightmare. It was absolutely like living in a nightmare. From her first starting to go through episodes or having a hard time. And listen, Michael, let me tell you this, that I think that for different individuals, it can be various different reasons, right? All of us are going to have different stress triggers. We all have different experiences in life. Maybe we've lost a job. Maybe we've lost a loved one. Maybe we've been through bad car accidents, illnesses. There's different stressors in all of our lives. So it's not that her experience is worse or better than someone else's. What just made this absolutely terrible is that we had very good insurance, I guess, and very bad information. So unfortunately, the medication didn't work. So I think overall, my mom was in and out of about 14 mental hospitals over like 16 years. Maybe it was like 16, 15 years. And it was just absolutely heart-wrenching and heartbreaking for me to watch, because my mom had been this absolutely gorgeous woman, waking her kids up in the morning with songs, cooking breakfast, hosting events. My dad was a politician. She was like, did all the events. She was just sort of this perfect mom, wife person. And then when all these bad things happen, and then mental hospitals and psychiatrists got into the mix, it just went down so fast that it was like a blink of an eye, I guess. My mom was never, she wasn't on the side of a medication person. I grew up with like a little bit of a polarity. My dad was always like, you got to take your antibiotic. And my mom was, had these nutrition supplement packs. No, you have to take your vitamins. And she was probably one of the first women in the town to be interested in stretching and yoga. And, I mean, she went to Bible study, but she was just accepting and adventurous and a truth seeker. That was just her nature as a soul, as a spirit in life. And when these medications blasted our family, so to speak, my mom just wasn't there anymore. She just wasn't there. She became a shell of who she once was. And so I just got on a quest for holistic mental health. It was hard to watch. It was hard to be a part of. It was heart-wrenching. I mean, we would have to hire private investigators trying to find our mom when I was younger. It was a terrible experience that I wouldn't wish upon anyone. So what my sincere hope is now and dream is to get truth to individuals and doctors, right? I mean, I'm aligned with a lot of doctors that look for answers and are willing to work with somebody so that we can avoid disasters. And I look forward to mental hospitals looking like and being equipped with vitamin drips and walks and very healthy habits, sort of things, better food. And, I mean, maybe this is like hospitals in general, but just so that we're helping one another instead of punishing and driving somebody down into what could be a really lifelong disaster. Like, people go through tough things. So people go through stress of losing work, losing loved ones, all sorts of different things. And so what do we do as a society to help somebody when that is occurring? Well, we take care of them is what we have to do. We have to offer respite and, a week of good sleep and good food and intravenous vitamin drips and, sort of an assessment of what's going on in their environment. Where is this stress coming from? Where are these triggers coming from? So that someone can get on their feet and go forward and doesn't feel like they are suffering with this, I don't know, like a scorned life now, right? This like mental illness life. Somebody has to, like, I don't know, they're like not whole anymore or something. Is almost this concept that exists in society, if you know what I mean.
I do. Yeah. And it's almost like, oh, you're the problem. Not that, no, well, you're a human. No one's perfect. And we're all exposed to challenges in life. But how do we treat or help or interject when someone needs that friend, someone to guide them, walk through with them?
Mm-hmm.
Do genes play a role?
Well, I'm not a doctor, right? I'm a health and wellness coach, and I just have a lot of lived experience with mental health. I have a different viewpoint on that. I mean, I think that they do, until a person can kind of untangle the web of sort of the contagion of aberration from growing up in a family that has lots of unrest going on in it.
Yeah, and you don't have a different take on it, because that's kind of my take too.
Okay.
Well, no, because, and I think of my wife as an example, had a genetic test and then kind of a consultation. We actually did this on a podcast.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, and as the guy was walking through her results, one of the genes was what he called low mood. But in that discussion, it was, but there are things you can do to prevent that gene from being expressed. There's nutrition that can support you so that that gene is not expressed. Mm-hmm. And, people that have that particular gene will require more of this particular nutrient, as an example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that's why I asked.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Well, so then it sounds like we do have a very, very similar viewpoint on it.
Because, they would suggest, well, okay, if your mother had that gene, then you might have it too. So,
yeah, and I would hear that from doctors quite regularly. One in particular, one of the first ones that was on the scene, because I would go to doctor appointments with my mom, and she was fighting on not taking the medication because she wasn't on sort of open to a medication viewpoint. Mm-hmm. And she'd say, but why would you want me to take these? They have bad effects. And, I'd be there with her and I'd be arguing on her behalf. I was kind of like always my mom's advocate. And then the doctor immediately would tell me, well, if anyone has the gene, it's you.
Yeah. And you know what else you had? Probably the same good insurance.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's true. I mean, overall, my family may have spent over $500,000 on the broken mental health system. Close to $1 million for sure.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, my mom was in super nice facilities out in California with the cascading mountains and the Pacific Ocean, right? With the psychiatrist that has the gorgeous office with glass windows. So it's opened up to the ocean, like bunnies jumping on the bright green grass and the, infinity pool into the ocean. So we tried everything.
Yeah. Well, I brought that up because genes do play a role in our health and our expression and stuff, but they aren't in control.
They don't have to be in control
in the matter. What was your experience with medicine growing up? You already alluded to the fact that your father was more of the, pro medicine, and your mom was more of the yoga, fruits and vegetables,
and Bible. I mean, really, yoga and religion. My mom was like, just religion.
Yeah. How did you grow up with medication when, you got hurt or had a ear infection, or, what was your reliance on medications?
I think I kind of got the best of both worlds because of how my mom and dad were. My dad was, no, you have to take antibiotic. And then my mom is, no, take your supplements. So it was a little bit of a balance. So I grew up with a viewpoint that it's not absolutely necessary. So, I mean, I have a son now, so I hold the same viewpoint with him, which is if there's an emergency and there's something that we can't solve another way, then we have emergency medicine. If we don't have an emergency, then take some niacin or take some vitamin C or go for a walk. Like, no, we don't. I just don't. I'm not a proponent of popping pills to hide something,
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned going for a walk a number of times, and I think that's great. Tell us about the pillars of health and the things that we should be focusing on.
Yeah, for me, since I am a wellness coach, and then what I do is try to help somebody really get their body healthy, get those 3 pillars down, right? And I'm going to coach somebody on them staying self-determined. I mean, that's kind of, I think, what makes what I do a little bit different than what a lot of people do, because a lot of individuals tell clients or tell the people that they're choosing to help what exactly to do. And so for me, since I am not reading a blood test, I'm not a doctor, I hook up with integrative and functional doctors and chiropractors to get a person to their base level of health. And once we're there, we are working on mind and soul health. And that's going to be different for a lot of different people. But a very big technique that I help people with is called mind muscle exercise. And this is to help a person get more control of their mind and their thoughts. And one way a person can do this is walking. And instead of walking and looking at your phone or talking to somebody that you're on a walk with, you're actually walking intentionally to look out at the environment. So it's noticing the house, noticing the car, and purposely directing one's attention to the things in their environment so that you get the ability to bring your stress level down. So it's different from meditation or things like this because you're not looking inward. The point is to look outward, because sometimes when we look inward, there's so much stress already there that it's pretty tough to balance that. So the point is to look out.
There's something in the scriptures that says, whatever is good, whatever is excellent, think about such things. And I would imagine as you're doing that and you're smelling the roses, you're looking at some of the beautiful things out there instead of, I'm not looking for the problems. I'm not looking at the crime. I'm not looking at.
Right. Yeah. It's just take a break,
Just
I
looking at
mean,
the birds in the pond.
Yeah, I mean, we say things like we'll tell each other, just take a breath or take a pause. And people say, have a healthy mindset. And these are great viewpoints and good sort of advice. But this mind muscle exercise gives somebody a way to actually do it. So yeah, and there's a couple other things that I teach. If you're ever interested, we can talk about it. But yeah, there are ways to exercise the mind muscle so that the unconscious mind, where the stress is stored and all the unhappy things going on in life, is not taking over one's reality. Yeah, so once I went through it, what I did with my mom, I just never stopped. On holistic mental health. Like, there has to be another way. It doesn't make any sense to me that my mom is not getting better.
Yeah.
I would just be in tears. I would just be in agony and tears looking for solutions and then begging the doctors, like, let's find another way. Let's find another way. So yeah, I mean, that's me. I just never stopped.
Yeah. For some of the kids that are on medications for their mental health, what are some of their concerns, things they should be concerned about, long-term detriments from being on medications?
Well, there's a lot of long-term detriments for being on medications. At this point in time, we don't have any studies that show the long-term effects of being on a medication longer than, I think it's like 8 years. I could be wrong right now because I don't have the statistics in front of me, but we definitely don't have a 30-year study. And what is often found with children is that a child that's medicated when they're younger ends up being a full-fledged drug addict when they're older. So we are unfortunately creating quite a problem in our society. I mean, I think right now we have over 300,000 kids under the age of 5 that are medicated in the US. We have millions of kids that are under the age of 18 that are medicated. And I look forward to, joining with a lot of powerful doctors and changing that reality. So we have sane mental health policies. I would love for a parent to take their kid to a doctor about their behavior issues, and the doctor says, okay, well, let's take a blood test and see what's going on. Okay, it could be literally low vitamin D, something so insanely simple.
Which is fun to make. You just go outside and play in the sun.
Right. I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am, your child does not have a mental illness. They have a sun deficiency. Please take them to the park or to the beach today.
Yeah, blue light from the computer screens is not helping you make vitamin D.
Yeah, this is true.
I remember hearing a comedian, and she said, something to the effect of, why don't you go outside and play tennis or something like that? And they said, what's tennis? And she said, well, it's like Wii, only for real,
That's amazing, Michael. Yeah. Yeah, it's
only
amazing.
for real. So many kids are just behind the screen with their little handheld shooting bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Go outside and throw a football, play baseball with your friends. I mean,
totally. Just be a kid. Yeah, I know. I feel kind of bad for kids sometimes growing up in this technology era that we live in now.
Yeah.
Totally.
How important is gut health in this? What have you found?
I think that there's definitely a connection between brain health and gut health. There's definitely a connection. I leave that to an individual to figure out for themselves. I will give them options and direct them to medical professionals that can sort all that out. And I focus on coaching them through whatever sort of bugs are going on and just helping them find their truth in their journey. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of truth to doing all the different tests, right? Even live blood cell analysis. I mean, I do that. I mean, I do blood tests every 6 months. Like, I follow very strict health policies. I do vitamin drips every couple weeks. I do NAD intravenously mixed with Myers. And then I always make sure to flush it with glutathione. I mean,
I don't know what that is. What's NAD?
I'm not going to be able to say it right. I'm going to have to look it up. The NAD, if you look it up, it's a supplement that gives the body its cellular energy. A lot of people take it for staying young.
Nicotinamide?
I always think it's a powerful niacin. That's what I think. And I understand it's mixed with a lot more amino acids than that. But
involved in energy production, DNA repair, and cellular health.
Yeah, that's one of my magic elixirs. I got super sick years ago with neurological Lyme's, and that really helped me heal my body, as well as stem cells and things like that. But yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I follow strict health policies, and so I share them with people, what I do, as sort of, if you want to try this and throw this in your tool belt, you try it and see if it works for you. But we're all individuals. You're going to have to see exactly what works for you. Some people have terrible sleep issues. I do a whole sleep routine thing with people. But the point is that somebody has to figure out, is chamomile tea really going to work for them? Like, maybe not. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's a bath. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's exercise. Like, we're all so different.
I agree. I love helping people identify the patterns, meaning
Yeah,
you had a bad night's sleep last night. What did you do the day before? What did you eat? What did you
right,
watch on TV? Whatever it is, something is
right,
interfering with your sleep. There's a
right.
cause to not having good sleep.
Well, yeah, and like, is there like an energy vampire in their mix? Is there somebody around them that is being nasty or narcissistic? That can happen every once in a while.
Yeah. I'm in the aloe vera business, and I think this is interesting. A particular customer I have purchases the aloe vera for his race horses. And when I asked him, I said, "Why are you giving them aloe vera?" He said, "Well, it keeps them calm." And well, the irritable digestion will interfere with your ability to relax and even sleep.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
and when the digestion is smooth, the horses are calm and they race better. They actually run better when
Uh-huh.
their digestion is good and smooth. So this is not something that is in our mind where we think so. It's actually observable even in animals. Good diet,
Right.
good digestion, good mental calmness. As a thank you for tuning into the DrHaley Show podcast, I have a special coupon code that can be used throughout the month of September 2025. Get $20 off your purchase of $200 or more at HaleyNutrition.com. The coupon code is SAVE20. That's SAVE20. And as usual, you can even use this coupon with on sale and already discounted bundled items. Enjoy the rest of this podcast.
Body health is the foundation. It just is. Body health is the foundation. I mean, literally, if somebody is going through sickness and illness, and I'm sure you see lots of different people going through extreme pain doing what you do with, I don't know, do you still do chiropractic?
I do.
Oh, okay. So, but aloe vera is within it.
Yeah, one thing I've seen over the years, though, is when people have a lot of pain, maybe low back pain with an antalgic posture, there's usually a mental emotional connection to it. So maybe you have that
Mhm.
weakness, but this flares up when you're having marital challenges or something that's significant. You lost your job and all of a sudden your sciatica is flaring up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of mental emotional components to pain that need to be
Yeah,
dealt with.
definitely. There's a definite connection between mind and body for sure.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how you help people. Who do you help? How do they get in touch with you? Is it throughout the country? Give some selfless plugs and where can people go to find out more?
Well, anybody can look my name up on Instagram or any of the social handles, Miriam Putnam, and it's Putnam. I have a website too, and I have a free download if people are interested in getting that. What do you
How,
think
how
your
do we get that? Yeah.
listeners would be most interested in? Like an overall body, mind, and soul, or more like truth regarding mental health? Or what do you think?
Well, I want both of them.
You want, well, it's mental health wellness journey is basically all the nonprofit resources that I put together in one sheet to help somebody with finding out, or making their own decisions, like reading the truth that is out there documented with different nonprofits, and then hooking up with a Canadian company that actually sells mental health vitamins, which I'll probably end up working a lot more closely with them soon, where they have coaches that will get somebody off of psychiatric medications.
Oh,
So
that's
it's called
fantastic.
True Health.
And that aligns perfectly with my belief in that when you're on medicine, it's there to buy time, and the goal is to make the changes so you can get off of them.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think the founders of that company lost a child to the broken mental health system. I believe that
Oh,
that was their story. So sometimes really bad things can happen to propel us to do really good, amazing things. And that is one of the things that I have tried my best to do. Like, despite the fact that I miss my mom every day, I am on a mission to speak as much as I possibly can, to help as many people as I possibly can, so that they can find real solutions, because I remember how tough it was. So it's amazing. I would like to really acknowledge you for doing this podcast, because you're here as a beacon of hope to talk about your expertise, talk about what works, talk to other people that are doing it, just to give people resources. So you're being a beacon of hope. So it's really
Oh,
awesome.
thank you. And we have similar stories.
Yeah.
My mother died from cancer.
Mm,
And at the time, I was in school to be a chiropractor, and I was just learning these things, that there were natural ways of helping health. And I do believe that had I had the knowledge that I have now back then, I could have tremendously helped her, probably helped her. She'd probably still be here today. I do believe that. Don't know for sure, but my father's still here. Why wouldn't
mhm.
she be?
Right.
And at the time, there was a medical route, and some things went horribly wrong. So I've learned since then, and yes, it's a mission to help people so that they don't have to go through what we did and see our
Right.
family members
Exactly.
suffer.
Totally. Well, so yes, we do understand each other. We both lost our moms to something that we could have, if the energies of the universe had been aligned exactly properly, correct divine timing, or however you want to look at it and say it, I could have done more, you know?
Yeah.
And now I dedicate my work to her.
So how do people get those downloads? Is it they go
So
to the
mental
website?
health wellness journey, if someone's interested in the nonprofits, like basically my younger years and how I sort of found what I ended up finding, like there's a huge nonprofit called Citizens Commission on Human Rights. And all that nonprofit does is work on um, ensuring that there are no abuses in the field of mental health. So if that means investigating um, over medication, Medicaid fraud, changing mental health laws, things like that. That is what they're focused on. And also taking abuse reports and filing claims within the legal system of something that could have been abuse within the mental health system. So I found them first. And then Mind Freedom. Mind Freedom is an awesome nonprofit that offers respite to individuals that have diagnoses or have some sort of handicap within that arena, and allow the person to have their own choices, basically, no enforcement. And they basically stand on the side of no medication, no electric shock treatment. I mean, the fact that we have electric shock still in our country, it blows my mind. Like, it just absolutely blows my mind. But
Yeah,
anyway, so
not
Mind Freedom, sorry.
electric shock for treating mental health. We're not talking about kickstarting a heart that's
No, we're not
not
talking
beating
about heart.
properly
No, we're not talking about heart. We're talking about treating mental, quote unquote, illness. That's what we're talking about.
with electric shock. Wow.
There's only 4 states in the US that have banned it. Yeah, and I mean, once we're off the air and we become friends, because I can tell we're going to become friends, we can talk about what's going on in Canada. It's outrageous. But anyway, so that download goes over different nonprofits that I found, the Vitamin Company, and anyway, many resources like that. So a person can look into it and decide and make their own decision. And then there's also a free download at Your Wellness Checklist, where I give sort of 10 steps, my top favorite 10 steps to body health, mind health, and soul health.
I like the
So
sound of that. Nice checklist, be easy to follow and say, okay, where am
your
I?
wellness
What's
checklist.
my
Yeah,
score,
10 steps.
so to speak?
Your wellness checklist.
You talk about being friends. We actually have some common friends.
Tell me.
Robert Scott Bell.
Oh, right.
Ashley
He's
James.
awesome. Oh, no way. Amazing.
Yes,
We do.
I've known Robert for probably 15 years now.
Oh, yeah?
And he used to be here in South Florida.
Okay.
So, we go to all the same events, and sometimes we were speakers at the same event. So,
Where are you in South Florida?
in the Fort Lauderdale area.
Okay. Awesome. I love the East Coast. Love it. I grew up
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
I feel like Florida's a good place to be. I was talking to someone from Chicago yesterday, and they were saying that the air is polluted, and they kind of look up at the sky and you don't really see the sky because there's this constant haze. And here in Florida, you have the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
And, we have the Atlantic Ocean here, and there's really air that's kind of blown across the state from over the water where there's not too much happening. We can actually see the sky. We can actually go outside and get good doses of vitamin D and
Yes.
happiness.
Yeah, it's very true. We're pretty blessed in Florida. It's a little hot, but I don't mind it.
No, that's part of the detoxification.
Yeah, exactly. Just sweat all day. It'll be better.
Sometimes we go outside and we pull the weeds and mow the lawn, and we're just drenched in sweat, and jump in the pool, because who doesn't have a pool near them somewhere? If you don't have one, or if there's the city pools or whatever. We have a lot of
Yeah.
pools in Florida. And then what I like to do to eventually shut the sweat system off is jump in the cold plunge.
Yeah.
Just sitting there for 10 minutes, and then I can actually go to work without still sweating for the next hour.
That's good. Do you have a cold plunge at home?
I have a poor man's cold plunge. That's a chest freezer that has been sealed and filled with water with a thermal temperature controller. I couldn't justify going out and spending so much money on a cold plunge, not knowing if I would do it. But my wife and I are pretty committed to it, so we might actually have to make the investment.
You make the investment in, yeah. Okay, well, good for you. It can have amazing benefits for the body.
Yeah, and I think the number one benefit is a mental benefit. It's kind of like, if I can get in this and do this and be okay with it, it seems to empower you to be able to do other things that you would not rather do.
Well, right. To be able to actually stay in a cold plunge for therapeutic amounts of time, you have to really have like that mind over matter thing down. Like you have to have the ability to make a decision and then follow through with it.
Yeah. And it's at the first 30 seconds to a minute. That's the hard stuff where you're like,
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
learning to breathe at the same time.
Definitely. I mean, when I started doing cold plunge, I couldn't stay in at first because it was so deathly cold, and I was going to a wellness clinic. This is something that I advise people to do: find their favorite wellness clinic and just make it part of your routine if you can. So I started doing cryo-eeze. Have you heard of cryo-eeze?
What is it?
So this wellness clinic that I found is such a beautiful place because they are also a nonprofit and getting into helping veterans avoid the terrible situation that we have, which is over medication of our veterans right now. And so they offer holistic modalities as an alternative to whatever medication the person has been taking. But this cryo-eeze gets down to like 200 negative. So it's a huge container that you get in. And so what I would do is I would go there a couple times a week to train myself. So like, okay, that's it. You have to deal with the cold. And then I was able to do the cold plunge.
So it's like cold, only air instead of water.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Only a lot colder, but it's air.
Only a lot. So, it's a lot colder. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I have a form of that I go in every day, and I'm at the aloe office. So when it's packing time, I get to go get the heavy stuff, all the buckets of aloe. So we're just at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, but I'm in and out of that freezer all day long.
Good for you. A little like body shock to the system, man. Like, nope, you're not taking over. I'm still in control.
But now I can count it as therapy instead of
Yeah, why
just
not?
work.
Yeah, I mean, sure. If it works and it's healthy and it doesn't hurt, then, it's improving the stats as far as our body goes. Why not?
Miriam, what should I have asked you that I didn't?
I don't know. I mean, this is your show. You're welcome to ask anything that you want. I mean, I don't know. What should you have asked? It's a good question. I mean, you
Well,
can ask
I don't want to
anything that you
leave
want.
anything out that may have been important because, it's conversational and we're having a good time and hopefully I know we're providing a value. We're giving people things to think about and direction that they can take. But I don't want to, because it's not my area of expertise, I don't want to leave anything out. So if there was anything that I should have asked.
No, I think you're perfect. I mean, I think overall, like since I'm just launching this online course that I did and I'm starting to write a book, just communicating with you and aligning with like-minded individuals, it makes my heart happy. I have a course now. It's called Freedom from Stress. So it goes over body health, mind health, and soul health. And I mean, I present a new way of thinking about things. And I don't mean you and I are definitely on the same page as far as body health and not hurting, let's help. But in my private practice, I actually help people get rid of their stress so I can take the negativity and turn it into positivity. But I don't even get into working on those sort of things when a person doesn't have a healthy body, because that's the foundation. And, I love it. I love what I do. I love to see somebody really not doing well about something. And then by the next couple sessions, they're themselves again. It's so beautiful. It's probably one of the things that you like about your work. Do you love that? You can help somebody go from terrible to really doing okay again.
The best paycheck is the feedback from the people we help.
Yeah.
That just lights me up.
Yeah.
And to me, that's actually a good thing to include in your mental health, doing something that people are going to appreciate and thank you for.
Yeah, right. It's very
It,
true. A lot of times I'll tell somebody like, is there a nonprofit that you're connected to? Is there a way that you can schedule something like that? Is there an area that interests you? Because a
that's
lot of
good.
times when we're around other people helping, and I don't know, whatever it is, like serving food to people in need or helping raise money at an event to help children with all of their needs to be met, it can just be very gratifying.
Yeah, and it could be something quick and stupid and easy, such as, well, I'm going grocery shopping and I happen to be walking by this person that just emptied their cart. Hey, can I take that back for you? Well, the truth
Yeah.
is I actually needed the cart myself anyway, but
Yeah, but just looking around, right? And like, how can I help today?
and they think, oh, that's so nice. I don't have to walk it back to the cart thing. They weren't going to
Yeah.
anyway. They were going to just lift the front wheels up and make sure it didn't roll away from the curb there.
Yeah, no, I know. I hear you. But when somebody is going through extreme stress and body illness, whatever it may be, it's hard for them to think like that. So it's sort of like, it's definitely not step one.
Ah,
Definitely not step one. And you know what I've found? I think like probably 80 to 90% of the time when there is a mental illness, drug, or a symptom that is not going away, it's usually found in the body. It's found in the body. It's either a liver toxicity, it could be a gut brain thing, right? Could be an extreme allergy. It could be extreme deficiency in minerals and vitamins. So unfortunately, a lot of people are on medication that are making their body health condition worse.
yeah. And it
Yeah.
could be something completely undiagnosed and they don't even know about it.
Yeah. So that's always the first step that I do with anybody that has gone the psychiatry route or medical route of medicating the symptoms, is that I always just say, well, let's just get you with a doctor. You choose you choose whichever doctor you want so that we can find what is going on with the body.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Miriam, thank you so much for joining us. And this was definitely enlightening and thought-provoking.
Thank you so much for having me, Michael. And hopefully we'll see each other again soon.
I agree. Yes.
I love that you're such a health warrior. Thank you for doing this for people and being a beacon of hope.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that episode today on the DrHaley Show. Make sure to hit subscribe on whichever platform you are listening to this. If this episode made you think of someone, go ahead, take a screenshot, and share this exact episode with them. You can catch the show notes for this episode on www.drhaley.com. If you want to geek out with Dr. Michael Haley on other radical health topics, be sure to check out his YouTube channel, where he posts exclusive video content. All the details are at www.drhaley.com, and we can't wait to hang out with you on the next episode.